Good day to you, my fellow endoskeletons. I'm Kenetor, and welcome back for another Starbase progress report. This is week 13 of 2022, and if you're new here, I bring the latest news and updates of everything Starbase every week. So make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss out. Now let's get to it. I just want to give a quick shout out and thanks to my YouTube members and DonorBox monthly and one-off supporters. Your ongoing support continues to keep this channel going, and if you enjoy this channel and want to join these awesome people, you can help out the channel with the links in the description. The PTU got another patch to cure the initial bugs in the new heat system, with only 1 or 2 remaining to be solved hopefully this week. As part of the latest update, updates to the ships in the ship shops have been limited to PTU only now, to make sure that any revisions now include the new heat changes. Frozenby also revealed these changes will be coming to live around mid-April, and if you are unsure if your ship can be converted easily, you should at least bring it back to Origin, where you can at least salvage the parts for an updated design. Most designs that can fit them just need to have a few heat sinks added in and nothing else, since the radiator need is less on the new system. But you should also run the math on your specific ship just to be sure you have the right amount of heat sinks. But this wasn't all. Frozen put out another announcement that the first iteration of Sieges is coming to the PTU, and of course being the first iteration it will be missing some functionality. If you're interested in testing this, I would recommend giving this forum post a good read through, as well as the wiki page that it links to, which has more information on how each of the sieges will work. You will also need a new or updated fighter to use, since the heat mechanics now apply to weapons and are not as simple a fix as normal ships. One immediately concerning part for me, however, is that you can choose any station within 200 kilometers of your fast travel target location. I think this is just nuts and pretty much extremely dangerous. On top of this, it takes away any exploration gameplay or having to track down any of your targets. I really hope that this distance is just for testing purposes, but before we go running for our pitchforks, let's just wait and see, as everything is subject to change and we still need more information on how all of this works. Wait, is that a bird? No, is it a plane? That's right, he's back, baby! Having been saved by a brave band of heroes led by Bob and Dr. Bolt, Lowry was recovered and his consciousness transferred into a biomechanical body, impervious to Cthulhu's control. Not long after, he was seen over in Starbase Discord answering questions despite still recovering from his ordeal. First answering what he thinks of the current state of development, and he says the new heat mechanics are a good first step, but a lot of steps still ahead. You can't help but agree with his answer here, especially the huge understatement at the end. Before returning to rest and recover, he also answered to a request to have the new blueprint update capabilities when the heat update hits, where he says he thinks it's very close to being deployed. So we have even more to look forward to now. I'm hoping by next week Lau will be back to his old self and answering questions left, right and centre. Until then, I have some more quotes from Excelli this week. Firstly, on what went wrong with the heat patch. He says it looks like the fuel chamber that messed up heat production with not distributing heat tokens correctly, which he then found the problem of, and he also fixed the enhancers to work correctly. These fixes came in the latest patch we got last week, but sadly the fuel chambers now produce too much heat. But I have it on good authority this will be fixed in the next patch. Excelli was also asked why thruster heat was not included in the rework, for which he replies the thrusters were excluded because the heat gameplay is different and irrelevant until they introduce heat sensor features. He continues that thruster overheating is not a thing, but they will heat up and that would be easily spotted by sensors, and that cooling them off would be optional. But this is only a preliminary design, which means they haven't started a full feature design on it yet. For those that don't know, we will eventually get a way to track down others around you, based off at least the heat being generated and expelled from your ship. But this will be coming later down the line. I also wanted to include this final quote from Excelli, and this is mostly for those people that think the devs just don't care. They aim to minimise all the extra hassle regarding the need for redesigning your ship, but the game is in an alpha stage. They will redesign stuff, add more features, balance things, etc. And they cannot avoid this unfortunate negative impact completely, and he hopes we all understand. Plus, I'd like to add, we're all playing a game about building things in space, and a lot of that is spaceships. New features and changes means more for what we signed up for. Ship design is a huge part of this game, and while it may suck to go through your designs that you thought were maybe done sometimes, it's also its own content, and the game benefits from a better foundation to build new features on, and it certainly won't be the last time you will need to do this, as I can promise you that. This week's progress report is all Siege focus, and that starts with our gallery images. We only have 3 this week, and they are all screen grabs of during a siege. The first was on a capital ship next to a hangar, the second is at a station being attacked with a stunning explosion being captured, and the last one is on a station with parts and debris everywhere. But the real meat is in this video posted with the update. It's a montage of a siege. Starts with showing a station with the capital ship in the distance shown by its orange zones, then jumps in closer showing a defender scout being destroyed. A bit of calm before the storm, then it's into battle. Your standard fare of ship and infantry combat, with a key bit of sabotage done to a ship hangar before finally the safe zone returns and the fight is over. While this video does look fun, a real siege will be much more chaotic than this, and there will be far more destruction too, and we will soon see it firsthand when PTU testing for sieges comes online. Jumping into the report now, and there's a lot to get through, so I'm just going to focus on the changes since we had the last siege update back in week 7. Our first section is siege technology, and this remains completely unchanged, and melee weapons has still not started coding yet, with the rest complete for some time now. Siege gameplay has some great progress however, which kicks off with Warzone creation. This is now marked as complete and will create an area which blocks civilian capital ship fast travel into it and drops the safe zones around the defending station and attacking capital ship. It also stops the attacking military capital ship from leaving during the fight. The next change comes with area validity for all station types, which has finished its design, art and coding now. This mechanic defines which zones can and can't be used for capture of a station. Capture mechanics is our next change and is now complete. This will be one of the key parts that enables testing, since capturing your target is one of the main reasons to siege in the first place. Our last change here is the siege aftermath. This is also now complete and it involves the removal of the siege war zone, resetting safe zones, and if lost, transfer off the station. The siege info and HUD only had the siege terminal left to complete last time, and this is now as complete as the other parts are. The siege terminal is a military capital ship component, and this is where you'll be starting your siege from. Related siege features also only had one feature left to complete, and this was the station reconstruction machine, and this too is now complete. Unlike the ship-based version, this will have a much greater range and can also be built on capital ships. And now we get into a brand new sections for Siege, and that is additions to Siege. These features will take Siege past its initial stage and enhance Sieges as a whole. We kick off with station ownership in a Siege. Once a Siege is started, you won't be able to change the station ownership or even resign them. Abandonment through evacuation is still possible however, and you just let the station fall. And this feature is already complete. Next up we have further Warzone restrictions. This has been designed so far and currently encoding. Stations and capitals that are not part of the siege but within its warzone will become locked and will limit players from exiting or entering. Improved affiliation and unaffiliation. This feature is also designed and currently in its art phase. When using the siege terminal, other military ships can join a scheduled or ongoing siege as either the attacker or the defender. Not only that, the improved implementation will allow switching sides in the middle of a fight for third parties. Enhanced zone capture visualization. This will add additional visual effects to the zones to show who controls each zone and which are currently contested. And this is design complete so far. Integrating companies to Siege. Companies will have a larger role in sieges in the future with company ownership of stations. Company-owned stations would simplify so much when it comes to permissions and has been a much requested feature from even the early closed alpha days, and while designed, code has sadly not been started yet. Player relation icons. These will be for use during Siege and will provide icons in chat as well as the game world. Sieges will be a chaotic mess, and this will help you know who you are fighting against and who you are fighting with, and hopefully bring down some of that friendly fire. This seems both useful and a complete waste of time in my opinion. We have long since needed a proper game-wide IFF system, and if we had such a system, this wouldn't be needed at all. Respawn System 2.0. This looks to be well on its way to complete and will enable resurrecting dead endos by the use of an endo kit on their body and healing by salvaging parts from dead endos. Lastly, for this section we have general siege improvements and optimizations. Not much to say here as there are no specifics listed, but should generally be a good thing for the game. And that's it, you're all caught up with this week's Starbase news. Don't forget to come drop by my Discord or chip in to support the channel via donor box or YouTube memberships. As always, do please smash that like button, share this video with your friends and faction, leave a comment with any questions you want answers to, and I'll see you in the next one. Kenetor, out.